Blackbeard and Kaido are some of the most iconic and powerful villains in all of One Piece. But which one of them would win in a fight? That's the question I'm here to answer today. I'm going to analyze both Blackbeard and Kaido's skill sets and then give a breakdown on how I think a fight between them would go. And this goes without saying, this fight is just my opinion. I have no idea how this fight would actually go, and it's just based off my own speculation. Now, let's begin to analyze both their abilities and skills, starting with strength. While Kaido and Blackbeard are both physically capable, this one has to go to Kaido. Kaido had the ability to one-shot a Gear 4 Luffy who was on par with Katakuri in his base form. And on top of that, look at his fight versus Luffy on Onigashima, and you can just see how insane his monster strength is once he hits his hybrid form. And then we have Blackbeard. Blackbeard does most of his attacks with his devil fruits, so we haven't seen much from him physically. I'm sure he is very strong, but there's just no proof to back that, so this one definitely goes to Kaido. Next up, we have speed. Did you know Kaido and Blackbeard are thought to weigh 600 pounds? So yeah, you would not expect either of them to be moving that fast. But they actually both have decent agility. While Blackbeard's speed is nothing special, we know that he's definitely faster than your average pirate. If we look at his fight versus Boa and Kobe, we can see that he intercepted one of Boa's attacks that was 2 feet away from hitting Kobe, and he was nowhere to be seen on screen. This is a pretty impressive speed feat, but it's nothing compared to Kaido. Kaido has an attack called Thunder Bagua, which he uses multiple times in Wano and allows him to move as fast as thunder. If he was out here keeping up with a Gear 5 Luffy, then he's definitely very fast. So another point's going to Kaido. This next one's going to be a little interesting, because next up we have durability. Kaido's mythical Zoan fruit gives him insane durability. I mean, we saw he was able to jump off a Sky Island and feel nothing, and the only things that actually hurt him were attacks by Luffy, Zoro, and Oden, some of the most powerful characters in the entire series. But do not underestimate Blackbeard. Although you may think with a Logia, all you have to do is have Haki and then you can beat him, that's not actually the case. You see, Blackbeard's Logia-type Devil Fruit is unique. His Dark Fruit allows him to absorb any attack, even if you're using Haki. However, this comes with a trade-off. In order to take 0 damage, he has to take 2 times the pain, meaning he has good durability, but horrible endurance and stamina. Meanwhile, you got Kaido, who can bounce back from insane attacks and multiple beatings. So, this one pretty obviously is going to Kaido. Now we have Haki. Kaido has mastered all 3 types of Haki and has unlocked advanced forms for all of them. And then there's Blackbeard, who has not used any Haki on screen at all. I'm sure Blackbeard does know basic armament observation Haki from being on the Whitebeard Pirates for all those years, but he has no confirmed Conqueror's Haki, which I'm sure he does have, but it's not confirmed. So, yeah, Haki's going to Kaido. Our final category is Devil Fruits, and this may be what Blackbeard needs to get the advantage and beat Kaido. Blackbeard is the only character in all of One Piece to have 2 Devil Fruits. His Dark Fruit is one of the most broken Logias in all of One Piece because it can disable any Devil Fruit user's ability. If he can do this to Kaido, he can get rid of Kaido's insane durability and really open up his chances of winning. On top of that, Blackbeard has the Tremor Fruit, which literally causes earthquakes. However, do not count Kaido out just yet, because his mythical Zoan fruit is absolutely broken. His Fish Fruit model Azure Dragon not only gives him insane durability, but also allows him to grow to the size of buildings and the ability to destroy mountains with just fireballs. While the average Blackbeard attack looks like a natural disaster, the average Kaido attack looks like it came straight from Dragon Ball. While they are pretty even, I'm going to lean towards Blackbeard and give him the point for Devil Fruits. Now that I'm done analyzing their abilities, let's move on to the second half of this video. The actual fight that would happen between Blackbeard and Kaido. First, we got to establish the setting of this fight, and let's say it takes place in a similar place to where Luffy fought Kaido in Onigashima, just a big, open, large piece of land. The fight would begin with Kaido and Blackbeard staring at each other from across the land. Blackbeard would engage the fight, but he would approach with caution, knowing what Kaido is capable of. Kaido, also being aware of what Blackbeard's capable of, would immediately shift in his Azure Dragon form and hit Blackbeard with a Blast Breath. Blackbeard would activate Black Hole and absorb the Blast Breath and then use Liberation to shoot it right back at Kaido. As Kaido is recovering from this, Blackbeard would jump up and use Tremor Crush right on the top of Kaido's head. This doesn't leave any lasting damage on Kaido, but it makes Kaido know that he has to take this fight seriously, and so Kaido decides to shift into his hybrid form. In his hybrid form, Kaido would then use a Thunder Bagua and blitz Blackbeard, hitting him directly in the stomach. While it does hurt, Blackbeard begins to laugh. He was prepared for this and decides to hit him with a Black Vortex, disabling Kaido's Devil Fruit powers. As Kaido morphs into his human form, Blackbeard takes this second of confusion to use a Tremor Crush, hitting Kaido directly. This leaves a far more lasting impact and even draws blood from Kaido. Kaido decides he's not going to let this slide, and immediately hits Blackbeard with a lightning hammer and sends him flying back. Kaido would then retransform back into his hybrid form, looking visibly frustrated he let a fool like Blackbeard draw blood from him like that. Now that he's morphed back, though, he's recovered from his injury and is ready to continue fighting. Kaido runs at Blackbeard and attempts to hit him with a Conqueror of Three Worlds Ragnarok. Blackbeard, looking visibly terrified, decides to counter with a Tremor Crush. The two moves clash, but it ends up with Blackbeard being blown away. As Blackbeard recovers, he would use a Quake Punch on the ground, which would send an Earthquake barreling towards Kaido. As the Earthquake approaches, Kaido would counter by using a Blast Breath. It would leave a huge crater, causing a bunch of debris and smoke to fly both ways. Blackbeard would activate Black Hole to absorb all the debris, and then use Liberation to shoot it right back at Kaido. The debris does not do anything, and Kaido attempts to approach Blackbeard to finish his fight. Blackbeard would attempt to counter by using another Quake Punch, and would send another Earthquake barreling towards Kaido. Kaido is ready for this, and jumps over the Earthquake, attempting to use an airborne Conqueror of Three Worlds Ragnarok. As Kaido approaches, Blackbeard laughs, because he has a plan for this. Blackbeard attempts to activate a Black Hole and a Black Vortex at the same time, so he can grab Kaido, negate his Dull Fruit, and finish this with a Tremor Crush. However, the Black Hole that Blackbeard activated ends up pulling in Kaido faster than expected. Kaido lands directly on Blackbeard and finishes the fight by using Conqueror of Three Worlds Ragnarok and drives it straight through Blackbeard's skull. The fight has now been finished, with Kaido as the victor. Let me know your opinions on this fight in the comments down below. I also want to say thank you for how well the first video performed last week. I truly appreciate it. Please consider subscribing, and I'll see you next time.